Hello, welcome to Candy Shoppe Yarns, where everything is sugar-free and high in fiber. I am Deborah, your confectioner extraordinaire. I am the owner of Candy Shoppe Yarns, and this is the ultimate destination for knitting and crochet enthusiasts. So I invite you to join in this friendly community of fun and hit the subscribe button and join us for fun videos. Today I'm going to share updates on things that I have been making that are fiber related. Are they all fiber related? I think so. So let's get started. This is episode 13 and it is June 6th, 2023. So today I'm going to first off, right out the gate, announce winners for last month's Mermaid Mal. And that's where we made items that were mermaid themed. So I'm wearing mine, so I'll tell you more about that in a little bit, but let's share the prizes and the winners. So first off, let's grab everything. I put everything in this bag, which is one of the prizes. For the Facebook giveaway, let me pull out the items for that. Okay. I have the Little Mermaid book, which is illustrated by Minalima. I could be saying that right, I could be saying it wrong, but I love all of this illustrator's books. I also have artwork packaged nicely in here. It is mermaid artwork. I shared it last time. I also have a mermaid, let's unwrap it, fairy for Fairy Garden. I hope things are focusing today. It's hard to see for me. And I have this gorgeous one-of-a-kind skein of silk, mohair, and nylon. It's 100 grams, 382 yards, and it's 69% silk, which gives it a gorgeous sheen. So for that prize, the winner is Courtney Fitzgerald. And Courtney, she crocheted a mermaid cowl. It looked like a mermaid tail, including the tail on the end. It's for her daughter. It was so fun. So congratulations, Courtney. I have your information, so I can get this to you. The prize for Instagram is this fantastic glittery bag from Packed Party. Packed Party? Yes. I love this bag. And it's this bag plus 3 skeins, your choice of which colorway. I have this minty green with speckles, or this aqua blue with different colors in there. You get to choose. These are also, I would say, one of a kind, three of a kind, non-repeatable colorways from my shop. So the winner for that one is, the Instagram handle is slipslipsis. She actually had several entries, 3 pairs of socks, and a yarn cozy. Yes. So she was really busy working on this. Congratulations. So now, if you won, then please contact me through my email, which is in the description box below. It is also candyshopyarns@gmail.com. And I need your full name and mailing address so I can get your prize out to you. So thanks so much for participating. I had a lot of fun. I'm continuing it on. I'm making more mermaid themed items because I got some started, but also it's just fun. So let me put these away. My goal today, we're gonna see if this is even possible, don't even know. My goal today is to not start and stop this video at all and to do like minimal edits. I have, I think, one picture to put in, and I think that's it. That's my goal. So Luna, my dog, is right here. You've got to comply. She's the issue. She's the one that causes all the distractions for me. I have to start and stop a million times. And that is the thing that keeps me from recording as well as getting it edited and uploaded. I was recording elsewhere, but it was so noisy because of road noise that I moved here, and then my dog is just, I mean, she's adorable, don't get me wrong, but she's demanding. Like right now, I stopped petting her and she's like tapping me on the leg. You're not done yet. Okay. It has been busy. I didn't even mention half the things that have been going on lately. I went to Great Basin Fiber Arts Fair a month ago. That was really fun. So I have been a vendor there a couple of times, and I was going to be a vendor this year, but because my daughter got married about the same time, I knew that wasn't going to happen. Got fiber in my mouth. I knew that wasn't going to happen, but I still wanted to go. So I went there and met up with some of my local knitting friends. We all made, not all of us, but most of us made a cowl from the same pattern and took a picture there of us wearing it. We had a little meetup where we all brought a picnic or a chair and sat out on the grass and visited and knit, and it was lots of fun. And it was Mother's Day, and I made a gift for my mom. So I gave it to her already, but it is a pair of socks that I cranked on my sock knitting machine, start to finish. It worked beautifully. I was really excited. The yarn I used, I have here. It was a special skein from my dear friend Crystal. She used to dye yarn and sell it, but she's not anymore. But quite a few years ago, we did a swap. She knit me a pair of socks and I knit her a pair of socks. Is that right? And we sent each other the extra yarn, I think, from it. And then since then, we've done some other swaps throughout the years. I just love you, Crystal. You're such a sweetheart. But one of the skeins was this beautiful skein of yarn. It may have had a name, but I started making something with it a while ago. I mean, several years ago. It wasn't the right thing for this yarn, so I pulled it out because I wanted the yarn for something special. And I don't think I kept the tag, but it's this gorgeous pink with greens and creams and speckles or sparkles. It has silver stellina in it, I believe. It's beautiful. So I divided the yarn in half, and then with the remaining amount, after I did socks, I cranked whatever was left into 2 tubes. So I figured I could add a cuff and a toe and then an afterthought heel and make a pair of shorty socks with the rest for me. So the socks for my mother I'm going to post here right now. And I embroidered little roses on the socks. I had plans to embroider a lot more, but the day I had set aside to work on it, I had a cute little neighbor boy that I have seen wandering around the neighborhood, but have never met before. He just stopped at my house and asked me to help him fix his bike. And he's probably 8 years old, maybe that. And he was riding his bike across the busy street near my house, and his bike lost its wheel and wanted help fixing it. And he drug it over to my driveway. So We were trying to fix it so he could ride the rest of the way home. And I told him if we couldn't get it fixed, then I'll put it in my car and I will drive him home and he can have his parents fix it. So anyways, he has since become my friend. And we've shared lemonade. Well, I mean, I gave him some lemonade. I did not drink from his cup. But anyways, he stops by for Band-Aids every now and again. It's just funny. So I ran out of time and didn't embroider any more roses. That's the whole story. So I finished those pairs, that pair of socks for my mom for Mother's Day. I have since been working on more sock tube socks. I shared last time that I had a basket full of Knit Picks Felici sock yarn, self-striping sock yarn for my friend Kimberly that I am working through and making socks with my sock knitting machine. And with the socks that I have, I hear my phone doing something, but I'm not stopping. Except for it might be obnoxious here. I don't even know where my phone ended up. With the skeins where I only have 50 grams, I'm just cranking them into a tube and knitting Afterthought cuffs, heels, and toes. With the ones where I have 2 of the same color, I'll do socks start to finish on my knitting machine. So I had a pair finished last time, and then I have since done cuffs and toes on a second set, except for I haven't done the toe on this one. I've started it. But I haven't decided who this is going to be for or what size. Well, I'm kind of making gifts for Christmas. So I'm trying to decide, like trying to have a range of sizes available. So once I decide that, then I'll know where I'm going to place the heel. But on this pair, I wanted them to match, so I didn't use all 50 grams. I wound, yeah, this is how much was left that I removed so that the stripes would line up. Because with the last pair I did, oh, here's my last pair right here. Nope, that's not my last pair. With the last pair I didn't have the stripes lined up, so I could make the socks longer. So I have that, which the colorway on that one is Pinwheel. And then I have the next ones ready to go, one sock tube ready for the next set, and I think I may have 2 more single 50 gram skeins, 50 gram balls left. I'm not sure. We'll see. I can't remember for sure. And I had another pair of socks that I had made last year on my sock knitting machine with Felici yarn that I didn't realize it until I had finished that I made them different lengths. The feet were different lengths. And they were a little too big overall, so I decided to rip those out and start again. So I pulled the socks out, pulled the yarn out, I wound it onto my Swift and tied it off. I soaked it and hung it to dry, so now the yarn is all relaxed and ready to start again. So I will have quite a few, oh, I found my phone. Okay, I'll have quite a few pairs of socks this December, which I'm happy about. Ready for Christmas. So, the project that what am I trying to say? My project, let's see, for the Mermaid Mal is what I'm wearing here. I'm going to stand up so that you can see it. It is so stormy today. It is really dark. I was trying to adjust lighting here so we had some light, but it's actually really quite dark. It's hard for me to even see very well. But if I turn on the overhead light and other lights so I can see better, then it doesn't look good on the camera. So, but we've got thunder going right now and my dog is terrified of it. So she just ran downstairs to hide in her favorite spot. So this right here, hopefully you could see it with the light changing. The name of this one is the Wave Lace Crochet Top Pattern. And it is a pattern I bought on Etsy called, the shop is Vintage Pattern Faves. And I have adjusted this. Let me show you a picture. So you can see I cropped the body and the sleeves. It took 2 full 100-gram skeins and like 5 grams, maybe 10 of a third skein. But you make it starting bottom to here, you know, in one long wide rectangle. And then you start in the middle and cast on, chain extra stitches for the sleeves, and you go back and forth and do the front or the back, it doesn't matter, it's the same, until you get up to here. So you chain extra stitches here and work your way up. And then it has you wrap the body around and seam up here, and then pick up stitches under the arm, pick up as you go and crochet across, back and forth, and do the front or the back, whichever one, it doesn't matter, the rest of the way up, and you seam the shoulders. And it's a boat neck. I'm just gonna say what size did I make? How many sizes are there? Not very many. I think there's small, medium, large, 1X, and 2X. I made the small. Yes, and I got gauge spot on. This does match up with the measurements they gave, but look at this. I have almost no room here, and crochet, especially right here, is not, this part here is not really stretchy. So I thought about unpicking my seams here. I did mattress stitch on the seam here. Thought about unpicking that and going back, and it also has like a finishing row on the top. Undoing that finishing row and doing like another pattern repeat, but that would make it quite deep. I could do a partial one, I don't know. It's so nice and cozy, I'm loving it. But by the time I finished this, I was fed up. On the second part of doing from the armpit up, this part I probably crocheted 4 times. I don't know what was wrong with me, but I kept messing it up again and again and again. You think you'd get better at it, but I got worse and I was done. I started to do the edging that it has on the sleeve, and I don't know, I just didn't like it. And on the picture it shows that it has a finish. It doesn't have information on the pattern to make this flat, but I didn't go and try and figure that out because I liked the scallop on the bottom because it looked mermaid-ish. I think it's very pretty. Here's the other issue though. I was thinking, oh, I'll wear this over a dress that I have, a green dress that I have. I didn't think about the fact that this was so tight and the sleeves are poofy on my dress. So then I was like, what am I gonna wear it over? What clothes do I have that I would wear it over besides that? Everything that I found that I liked, either the sleeve was too long, the sleeve underneath was like down to here, or the sleeve was too poofy. Yeah, so I even went looking for shirts that I would wear underneath, and I couldn't really find anything unless it was, you know, a tank top, and I don't wear sleeveless things underneath, and so I wanted to have something. So I'm just wearing a plain white t-shirt, but I don't love that it comes in so far. I'd like one that's out farther so that it doesn't have such a difference here in the neckline. but it's cute. It's cute. I don't know that this is really a great summer top, even though it's lacy. It adds another layer, and it's fine right now because our weather has been crazy. We've had rain every single day almost. We've got into the 80s a couple times, but it's very unlike our typical Utah weather for this time of year. So I've been able to wear it right now, but any other time in the summer, I would be dying. So yeah, that was my entry for the Mermaid Mal. Let's see. I'm trying to do show notes religiously because I did not do that before. It was too much. It was too much work, honestly. So I'm trying to do that now, but I'm not so great at doing it as I go or beforehand. Instead, I have to go back and rewatch the video and write everything down. So I'm trying to do it right now as I go. Okay, what else have I been working on? I haven't finished anything else, but I have several projects that I have started. So, let's see. One that you've already seen is the watercolor socks. This was my other thing I was making for the Mermaid Mal, and I ripped it out to start again because the color work on it was too tight. It wasn't too tight if I had done probably the recommended amount, and I could have ripped back to just there. But I decided to not mess around with it and to go all the way back and start again. And I did too many rows of color work because I was trying to add in extra repeats. So I thought, okay, I'll go back and I will get the gauge correct. I will be a little bit looser in doing it. But I didn't think about the fact that by loosening up my gauge, the yarn that I had knit before wouldn't be enough, because I had pulled out the yarn and started knitting with that. Well, I ran out of the minty green that I started with a row and a half before it was done, so I had to add in more yarn. So that's 2 more ends to weave in. I thought, okay, I'm not doing that with the next colors. I'm going to just pull out the, the bigger cakes of yarn, even though I'll be wasting those little bits. I love that yarn. I'll have to find something else to do with it. So I pulled out the next color and I was working away on it, and I don't know what I was thinking, but when it was time to end my green and I was still working on the blue, I cut the blue instead of the green. So now I have to add in the blue again and have 2 more ends. At that point I was so done. I just was like, forget it. I'm not making this. It's nothing to do with the pattern. It was me, but I was so fed up. So fed up. I don't know. We'll see if I get back to it or not. It's been sitting here for a week and a half. I may just do scrappy socks and start these socks again another time because I just had it. So that was for summer sock camp. I thought, okay, I'll rip it out and start again for summer sock camp. And I have my tote that I got last year from Coco Knits. And this is the badge, the patch that they had for summer sock camp last year. And I thought, well, I can start that again. Now Kay of Crazy Sock Lady Designs, who is the one who is hosting the summer sock camp knit along, she said that whips this year are allowed. So I thought, well, then that's fine. I don't have to rip this out. I can work on whips. But I just thought, no, I'm going to start it again and I'll make something else. I'm not including my, okay, well, when it comes to this make along, I don't know that I'll actually enter anything technically, but I'm still making along. So like these are not included because these are partially done on my sock knitting machine. But I'm still calling it my summer sock camp project. So now I'm not sure. I don't have any socks that I'm working on specifically for summer sock camp right now, but we'll see what I end up doing. Okay, the next project is another one for the Mermaid Mal, which has ended, but doesn't matter because I'm still knitting along. I have started the Aranami shawl by Olga Jazzy. So my friend Jules of So Sweet Violet, she made this, but made it into a cowl, and I loved it, but I didn't know how to make that happen, like how to adapt it into a cowl. I didn't even know how this was made. So if you can see, each of these scallops, they're individually knit. It's a modular design where you just do one scallop and then you cast on stitches and pick up stitches and do the next one and cast on stitches and do the next stitches and start the next one. So I thought, how in the world, because there's always these points you're working on, how do you join it in the back where you need it to be even? I don't know if that makes sense. So she got out her cowl and showed me a video of how she made it, or just showed me a video of it so I could see it inside and out. And then I saw, oh, now I see how this works. So I figured out how I could join it. She was making the shawl and decided to make it into a cowl, and so she serged it up in the back so that it would secure all of the threads and cut off the excess, and it looks beautiful. But I figured out how I could do it as I make this without having to serge it later. So this is what I have so far. So you start on this bottom scallop, but it actually isn't a scallop until you add more. It's actually just a triangle. This is the shape of it, but as you add in more triangles, it pulls it into the shape of a scallop, of a fan, maybe we could say that. So these are alternated, and because they're alternated, so I was just cut off. My battery died. So much for one video, one take. Okay, so let's try again. So because these little fan shapes are alternated, stacked on top of each other, then it makes perfect sense that in the back here, let's see if I can do this. I'm ready to join this together actually. Okay, I'm gonna join this together. The points of the edges of the outside edge will meet in together. Can you even see that? Probably not. Will meet in together like this, and I will pick up stitches to join it together to do that fan and do the next round. I hope that makes sense. But I am on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I just finished the 5th row of fans, and I'm starting the 6th one. So on the 6th row, I'm going to join these points together in the back. So the yarn that I'm using is yarn that I dyed specifically for this, and I started out with a 3-color fade, and I'm calling it my lilac fade because the colors were inspired by lilac bush. I'd been seeing all the lilacs around blooming, and it was so beautiful, and I was sad that my lilac bush had to be removed and I was missing it, and I had a friend offer to let me come cut some from hers, and so I had a bouquet in my house and I dyed yarn based on that. So I have 2 of them in skeins and 1 caked up because I'm already using it. So I have this kind of mauvey pink color, and then a dusty purple color and into a deeper violet. And so I had that, and then I knew I wanted to start with a peach. And it doesn't take much. I mean, each wedge takes like 2 grams, maybe, if that. And so I just dyed a mini skein and did a kind of a vintagey, antique kind of looking pink. I don't know if this color is coming across true on the camera or not, but I wanted to start with that. So I needed a bridge between the peach and this mauve. So I did this kind of, let's see, kind of a rose gold color. So I now have a 5 color fade instead of a 3 color fade, which is what it started with. And so I've done the peach and kind of the rose gold color, and I am working on that kind of mauvey pink color. Now I have actually dyed a handful of these this 3 color fade. And I'm contemplating doing the full 5 color fade, but I need names for these. So if you have name suggestions for any of these, I would love to hear them, because I already have peach. So a peach colorway. Okay, so that is my progress on the Aranami shawl, and I've actually held off working on it because I wanted to show you how it is laid out right now before I join it together. So this is so fun to work on, honestly. It's really, really fun. It's hard to see there we go. The color contrast between this one and this one on the camera. I'm trying to get a better glimpse of it because the lighting is so off today with the storms. I'm not complaining though, I'm loving it. I feel like I'm on a vacation because where I live in Utah, we never get this much rain. Never, and especially this time of year. It'll be dry and hot. And we'll go visit family in California. You wake up and it's humid and it smells fresh and just lovely with all sorts of green, lush things growing around. And I love that. And I wake up in the morning and that's what it's like here. So I take a deep breath and feel like I'm on vacation. So I'm going to soak it in while I can. I have one more project here. Hi, Nadia. One more project that I am working on, and the pattern is, where did I put the pattern? I have too many. Oh, it's right here. Okay. This is another baby project. This one is for my soon-to-be born grandson. He is due in 1 month. Speaking of which, my nephew was just born a week ago today. No, yesterday. A week ago yesterday. My niece Aria. If you know of my sister Emily, Salt City Knits, her daughter Aria had her baby 6 weeks early, and he is doing well, and she is at home. Well, she's actually at the hospital a lot because that's where her baby is, but I'm thankful that they're both healthy and doing well. Okay, so my grandson is due in 1 month, and I have been working on lots of projects. So I have this one to show, Scandi Bear. And I purchased this on Etsy, and I can't find who it is by, so I'm going to have to, I'm going to have to find that again and put that in show notes. This one is a little, does it say to use that? No, it doesn't say to make it into a rattle. I'm making it into a little rattle. It's just a little stuffed bear, and it has different variations where you can add like the muzzle, the little belly, you can put a sweater on it, you can add in cables. So I'm keeping mine pretty basic. I am doing this option here with the muzzle and the belly, and I'm almost done. And I just had it in my hand. Here it is. This is in a bag that I made for myself and some of my friends. This is what I have done so far. I have added in a little rattle. I put the rattle in another project for my niece's baby, my great nephew. I purchased the rattles on Etsy. There's various ones. There's ones that are balls and they are bigger and a little louder, and then there's discs, and I got the smaller discs so they're not as loud, but I actually put 2 in this one. I love it. Okay, so this is what I have done so far, and this is how big it is compared to my hand. So this pattern is simple, but also a little bit frustrating in the sense that it doesn't tell you what size needles you need. It says worsted weight yarn, and I got some worsted weight yarn. I mean, I've had this. This is shepherd's wool in the color milk chocolate. I got this on clearance. Oh, NPS, if any of you have ever heard of NPS, it is a warehouse here where they sell damaged items that were damaged in shipping or lost in shipping. And so my husband actually bought this for me. So anyways, shepherd's wool is worsted, and it said on the label to use a size 8 5mm needle. This pattern tells you just to use yarn that, what does it say? Not yarn, needles. It says straight needles appropriate to weight yarn. And this called for 5mm. That I knew was going to be way too big. So I went down to 4mm. And that was too big. So I went down, I had knit like a body and went, this is not, this gauge is too loose. And then I went down to a 3.75mm needle. I would have gone down to a 3.5, but I didn't have one available if I remember correctly. So the problem with knitted toys that you stuff, the sun is out now. I bet you can see. I can see. Oh. The problem with knitted toys that you stuff is that it can keep expanding forever when you are stuffing it. Crochet will expand up to a certain point, but knitting, it's like, it just keeps on going. It's an endless pit. So I'm stuffing this prior to closing it up and sewing the legs and adding the other things, and it's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And I'm like, nope, that's not gonna work. So this is really, it feels very loosely stuffed. I mean, I make a lot of dolls, and dolls you firmly stuff. If you want them to hold up, they need to be firmly stuffed, and this is not firmly stuffed. And I also have the little rattle in here, and I don't want it to feel hard, but I couldn't keep stuffing this. So I think that had I gone down one more needle size to a US 4, that would have helped, but that's my recommendation, is going down even more needle sizes so that you have a tighter gauge so that you can stuff it a little bit more fully. So I think it's adorable though. This is a great size for a little kid to hold on to, not too small for a little toddler. And I just need to add the muzzle and the belly and it will be done, which is good because we are having a baby shower at my house this weekend. So I need to get that finished. I have been just trying to be consistently working on these projects. And my last project is also for my grandson, and this one is sewing. So my daughter is planning to have her baby at a birthing center. I had 2 of my children at home. My first daughter was born in the hospital, it was a C-section, and then after that I chose to do 2 home births. And I just thought, after all that we did to have like a really warm, cozy environment, I couldn't bear the thought of putting them in a scratchy, disposable diaper. And so I had made some cloth diapers, and I didn't use cloth diapers exclusively for my children, but I did use them quite a bit. So I had a lot of them, and so I knew how to make them for a long time. I made a lot, I had lots of patterns. There's a whole community of cloth diapering mothers, and there's all sorts of terms for all-in-one, fitted, gussets, the diaper covers, soaker panels, all sorts of things. PUL, if you cloth diaper, you're familiar with all those. Well, my daughter wanted to have some cloth diapers for the first week maybe, because she was feeling the same way, like, oh, I don't want to put them in a scratchy disposable diaper, I want something soft. I couldn't find my patterns. All the patterns that I had spent years and years and years fine-tuning and perfecting, I must have gotten rid of them when we built my new sewing studio out in the garage and I moved everything over, because I cleaned out a lot of things. I probably thought, I'm done diapering my children. I won't ever need these again. Frustrating. Well, like 5 years ago maybe, we had a friend that wanted cloth diapers. Like, that was something she was requesting. And so I thought, well, we'll have to figure out a new pattern. So we figured it out. And I went out when my daughter said she wanted some. I'm like, great, I've got patterns again. I went out. Nope. Did I keep them? I did not. Do I even know where I got them? Where I found the patterns? How I created them? No. So I had to figure it all out again. I am keeping these. So let me show you the diapers. They're really cute. Here's the first one. Now, I don't have the closures on here because I ran out. I didn't have any Velcro. And usually use like 1 inch, is it 1 inch Velcro or 1 1/4? I'm trying to remember, but it's a soft, flexible sew-on Velcro. A lot of people use snaps, but I preferred Velcro. So I did a Velcro tab here, and I would do the, what did I do? The loop here and the hook here, and you could fold that down before you washed it so that it wouldn't snag on anything. And I can't remember which one I put where. Anyways, so you put Velcro across here and then on here, and it is adjustable. And sometimes you could add like an extendable tab here if you wanted it to overlap this way, or anyways, all sorts of things. So I went to go get Velcro at my local Joann's. They didn't have it. So I've got to go find some somewhere. But I used a different fabric than I've ever used before, because this wasn't something that was around when I was diapering. We used PUL, polyurethane laminate, if I remember correctly, which is what I did for this one. And I did just a plain white. There's ones that you can get that are printed, but I just did plain white. But I found this fabric that was in the baby section at Joann, and it felt like it had a laminate to it. So I thought I'm going to give it a shot and see if it works or not. But this is called an all-in-one diaper, where the cover is built in to the diaper, so you don't need two pieces. So it also has the soaker panel attached. It's not detachable, it's still attached, but it's loose. It's not sewn into the body of it so that it dries faster. I also didn't do super thick ones because you can also make pockets where you can slide more soaker panels in. You can have long, like extra long ones that fold up. I just kept it very, very, very basic because she just wanted these for the very beginning, and if she needs anything more than that, we can figure it out from there. But I'm just keeping it super, super basic. So I did 3 diapers. This one has a little fox on the back. The hard part is if the print is upright this way, it's going to be upside down right here. And trying to center it on here, I couldn't get this centered here because of how much fabric I had. So it's just kind of off. But this one, I made a 3rd one. This one has little whales centered on the back, and the fox is upside down on the front on this one. So, and then it has elastic, which is what on the sides here. And I used something called bird's eye cotton, which is a diapering cotton. It's thinner but also really absorbent, so you don't have to have as much bulk. I used that for the soaker panel. And then we used to call it double flannel, which was where the flannel was like flocked on both sides, not one side, but I couldn't find that anymore. Years and years and years ago, the place that I could find it was Walmart, back when they had a like big fabric section. But anyways, I don't know where to get all of those things anymore today. So I'm gonna have to go online, try to find the Velcro and get these 3 finished, but I think they're adorable. That's all. Is that it? That is it. Yay! I don't have any shop news for today other than my sale has ended. The Mermaid Kingdom collection is released, and I shared that with you. And the Christmas Advent Calendar orders are now closed. So, did I send? Okay, all those have finished. That was done at the end of May. So I'm taking a short little 3-week break before I start in on the next wave of things going on for my shop. We did it was my husband's birthday this last weekend, and for the past 10 or so years, I think we've only been able to really celebrate it once, because it always falls on the weekend. It always falls when my girls are having their ballet dress rehearsals, performances, heroic youth training events. There's always things like all surrounding it the weeks around his birthday. And so this year we're not participating in any of those. So he and I went to the Garage Grill in Harriman, which is a restaurant that is all race car themed. And my husband loves vintage cars. We have a 41 Plymouth Coupe and a 57 Porsche Speedster that one was a kit car that was built onto a, oh, what frame? I just forgot. Anyways, doesn't really matter, but my husband loves vintage cars, and so he likes to work on those. So it was fun to go there, and then we came home and watched Ford versus Ferrari, which was a really fun movie. And then the next day we did a little day trip to Malad, Idaho, because once a year on his birthday, or the weekend of his birthday, so that's why we miss it every year except for one, they have a vintage classic car show, and it's our favorite one. We've been to Hot August Nights in Reno, but that one's so massive. And there's a lot of car shows around here, but it's always the same cars. So we've seen them all. So we wanted to take a trip somewhere else so we could see some different cars. So we did that, and then stopped at an antique store on the way back and just browsed, and it was just a really fun weekend. And we have a baby shower this weekend, so it's just been kind of a lot of things going on, but all really good things. And yeah, just want to take a little break so we can have a trip to the Redwoods in Northern California. Just do some exploring. So I will be back again in a couple of weeks after that and talk with you again. So thanks for joining me, and I hope to see you again next time. Bye.